Awesome. And I see we got our long leash today.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So last week, I think, did we already start jumping into the stay stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I'll have you review, again, we'll do a little bit of the turns.
Okay.
I'll have you start
now
doing
I have
the
this
stays.
time. But...
Fully charged.
Yes.
And then we'll move on to the recall stuff.
Okay.
Okay. Questions?
Not right now.
All right. Are you ready?
Nothing new.
And what's his operating level been around?
On like a walk, it's been like 35,
Okay.
40, if he's really not paying attention. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't gone lower than 35.
Okay. Go ahead and you're at what, 35 now, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Go ahead and just give a quick tap. That sounds pretty good. So, those folds. For puppies, I'll pull the folds through. There you go. And that'll help aid with better contact.
Yeah.
If you find that collar dips down, it might be a notch or two too loose whenever he's walking.
Right.
It should stay in place.
Right.
Puppies are kind of weird because of the loose skin.
Yeah, I think that's the only time I see it move, really. I need to mark which hole I usually do. I haven't marked it yet, so it's like, if I mark it, because some days it doesn't move at all.
Right. And you can use nail polish if you have any.
Mm-hmm.
That's what whenever I used to do my home visits, I asked, like, do you guys have nail polish?
Right.
They'd always like look at me weird and like, it's not for me, it's for the dog. And I just put a little dab on it. Yeah. And this way, even when he grows,
right, at least
you'll
it's
have a reference point, and then you can always mark it with the newer notch. But otherwise, it looks good. The 35 I saw registered. He put his butt down. I didn't see a ton of concern, so it's probably a smidgen higher.
Okay.
But it's good for what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So whenever you're working with Bear, I want you to just think to yourself, like, is this easy or is this taking a little bit of work? Okay. So a little bit of work would be like tap, 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 and then he responds, right? So that's like 5 or 6 taps.
Right.
And I want ideally to get a response within, if not by the first, by the third. That's always my rule, right? So that right there, 135, boom.
Yeah.
Very quick response. I go, cool. That looks like it was working for that. But once you start moving and you add in the, like, we're moving forward and the momentum, and then the brain gets distracted and sees squirrels and kids and other dogs and things like that, that's where finding the higher number kicks into play. But just keep that in your mind. If not by the first, then by the third tap, we should have a response. Okay. And I equate everything to the recall. Okay, because recall is the most important command Walter can know. Okay, and people will kind of argue like, well, what's the big deal if it took a couple of taps before the dog sits? I'm like, because you're setting the frame of mind for just your general obedience. And like, yeah, who cares if it took a couple taps to sit? Like, I don't care either. I care about the recall. So if everything is instantaneous, the sit, the down, the heel, and all that stuff, then recall becomes instantaneous, right? But if there's delay, and then the one day you need them to not delay on that recall, that's where it becomes a problem. So just keep that in mind. I mean, he's doing great, but you know, when you're actually reinforcing and applying it through life, that's the real training. Yeah. Right? Because that's what he's getting used to. This is realistic and not realistic in the same sense, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely that stuff that you apply on a daily basis is what he's going to perform at. Okay? Okay. Awesome. So
what? Just walk, turns.
Couple turns.
Stays.
Yep.
Okay.
Going into the heels, saying that's all being done correctly. Okay.
All right. Go through heel.
Good. 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 Do a couple more. The heels, the stays, like how you did it. Yeah, heels, turns, all that. Tap, tap, good, yep, good. Try another walk around. Keep him in position and move around again. Yep. Good, one more. Good. Do a couple of turns. What's up? Doesn't matter. You could do a pivot or there you go. You crossover. And then try a pivot. There you go. Good. Very good. When on one, I think it was the second stop where he forgot. Yep. So what we'll start doing now is on that one, you lightly pulled up, right? Now with the prong, that's how you would reinforce.
Right.
Now I'm gonna have you start going to remote.
Okay.
Okay. The biggest reason is humans naturally resort to physical control, right? And I want to dissuade you from that, start making you go to remote.
Yeah.
Because if he's off leash, that's gonna be your only source. But if you're still used to using the leash, if something should happen, your response is still going to be go for the leash when it should be go to the remote. Okay. So when you come to a stop, you can actually just give a tap without even having to raise the leash.
Okay.
Right now, you tapped it. There wasn't even any pressure, and he put his butt down right away. Right. And you don't say sit or anything. You just give the tap, and it acts like a reminder.
Yeah.
Right. You come to a stop, and if something was on his brain, he's sitting there, he's forgetting. Boop. Oh, sure. Yeah, I forgot. Sorry. He sits down. Right. And then the more often you do that, the more inclined he is to sit because he's like, all right, there's no warning. There's no, hey, put your butt down. There's no, repeat or anything like that. It's just tap. So if I want to refrain from getting tapped, then, or keep it from happening, put my butt down. Okay. There was that. I liked when you did the stay, and he got up and you tapped him.
Yeah.
You corrected, right? You went back into position. That's really good because it's showing concept. So if that happens, because you're going to end the exercise, and you got up at the very end, we correct it. But then I don't go to the next thing. I would repeat one or two more walk arounds, come back, no mistakes. Now we go to the next one. Okay, so that he retains the whole don't move, period.
Yeah.
Okay, questions?
No.
So what we'll do now is we're going to do a small little batch of more stays, but we're going to make it a little bit more normal. So you're going to stay like you have been, and you're going to move forward with the right leg, but now you're not going to pivot out in front of him.
Okay.
You're just going to move forward like that, okay?
So not the one close to him.
The one here, right. So the stay is always done with the leg away from him, because that's how he's learning, which left means forward, right means you stay put.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you go to step away, you give the stay, shorten your leash, so that if you need to pull up, again, immediate contact, stay, and go like this, but keep your arm back here in case you have to stop him, because this forward motion looks like heel,
right?
But the difference is the leg, right? So we did this to get us used to the fact of you moving away, but now we're making it a bit more normal, where it's natural, where it's like now moving away, and it looks like heel, but it's not. You have to pay attention.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do a few of those, and then we'll move on to the recall stuff.
Heel.
Good.
Just walk around then?
And going to walk around? I was expecting him to get up, so.
Oh. Cool. Getting all tangled on you.
Back to the side. Good.
I don't have to pivot into him either?
No, you can just walk into him. So now we're making, that real rigid kind of awkwardness was just to get you used to the whole right leg thing, right? And for him, it's easier when we started to do this, because he's not going to swivel with you unless he knows how to, okay? So now he's gotten the concept of stay and not moving and something to do with this motion, with this leg. So now we can start making it a bit more kind of normal, you know, where you're walking around and stuff. And technically, you know, let's say Walter is here, right? And you get the stay and you walk around, you could even walk up to Walter here. And he's facing down. But he's on your left side.
Right.
All that matters is that he's on your left side. Yeah, right? And then you go into a heel. So now things start to get a little bit more fluid in terms of how we move and a little bit more normal. Yeah, exactly, natural. Only thing I would, just as a reminder, so you gave the stay, this was perfect, but keeping this short still, right? And then once you get further, far enough, then you can let that slack go once you feel like, oh, he's not going to move, and then go into the movements around. Okay? All right, 4 more. Good. Good. Right. Thought about it.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's good. Correct it. Good. 3 more.
Oh, did I tell you, Matt was diagnosed with, he had a
Good. Keep thinking about it. Right, good. Good. Very good. 1 more. Good. Good. Excellent. Going to come back. Return. We're going to get the long leash, and we're going to clip the long leash to the same link as the leather one here, and we're going to leave both leashes on them, okay?
Okay. This thing is like obnoxious.
How long is it?
It's 50. I had no like reference. I'm terrible at like estimating.
Sure.
Like, I have no idea how big this is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had someone get 100 feet once.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
I did this because at the park he was not being trained all summer, and I was like, I want him to like run around. But
Sure. Yeah, yeah. When we start to progress into off-leash stuff, we always do long leash. So there's a lot of stuff that can happen, and I'll educate you on it. So you have a heads up. But the long leash phase is a bit until you feel confident and fully confident. Like, yeah, I know what to do to make him return, or I know that he's going to return because we've done so much training.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to come on over here. So the reason for the 2 leashes is Walter might get savvy to this exercise and start to prematurely like run from one person to the other, right? So if you're working with Chase and you keep drilling, you calling him Chase,
yeah.
You're going to return him, and then you'll see as you're walking away, he's already going to want to move with you because he's like, because he knows you're going to call him.
Yeah.
Okay, would you grab something?
All of us.
So what we'll do is we'll operate around 30 feet with the leash.
Okay.
And I'll let you know.
Yeah. How far that is.
So we're going to start off first. I'll be holding Walter, and you're going to go with your long leash, the blue one. Okay? And you're going to go about, yay distance here. And there's going to be slack, and you're going to start pulling the leash so it starts to get a little taut, right? And you feel a tiny bit of tension that you can tell that Walter feels, right? And we're not going to say any words here. Walter's got a baseline foundation of recall from the puppy Head Start stuff.
Yeah.
So if you called him and he came to you, it's like, yay! But we didn't get the opportunity to use the remote. Okay, and that's what we want to do is we want to layer in the remote over the recall. So if we have to use it, remember a dog's first instinct is typically to run away. So if you were to call them and never did remote with it before, potentially you send them running away, right? So we want to teach them, no, you don't go that way, you always come to me, okay? We're going to layer in the remote. We'll start with 35. So you're putting tension on Walter, right? Just a little bit. And you're going to start tapping. And if we're at the right number, we should start to see Walter kind of fidget. And then the tension is to guide him to pop forward.
Yeah.
Okay? Once Walter pops forward, you're just going to move backwards, but you'll stop tapping. Okay? And you're going to reel in the leash as he's moving it to you. Okay? So very coordination heavy.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Not my thing.
There's going to be mistakes. So again, we get tension through remote. Starts moving to you, you stop remoting, backwards, take in the leash as he comes to you, okay? You don't have to take it all. Just take in the leash because let's say Walter comes to you and you leave 20 feet of slack and he decided to book it that way. Now he's got 20 feet of slack to go that way, okay? Did we go over the trainer holds? Like how to, with the looping and everything?
No.
Okay, sure. So, one thing that you can do is, where do you hold your remote? You're right-handed?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I would probably do is loop the thumb here. I'm sorry, not to loop the thumb. Loop the leash over your thumb. This locks it. Okay, so should he, for whatever reason, book it, he might pop, pull your shoulder or whatever, but he's not going to rip it out your hand. And you also prevent rope burn. And I've had rope burn happen to clients, and it sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
that's like what some lady was telling me about this leash at the park. I was like, okay.
Yeah, rope burn. I had one client, it wrapped around her legs, and the dog kept going.
That's what she described to me.
Yeah. So, here, and so you can have your remote in his hand with your leash here. This leash, part of it here. So this is where you're pressing the button, right? Or here. That leaves these fingers as you're moving away from Walter to reel him in towards you. Okay. Now, once you've decided, I don't need to do this anymore, you're going to do this. Okay. Just like that. This also locks your leash. Okay. So again, if you were to book it, I'm not worried about it going like that. Might pop you a little bit, but otherwise he won't burn your hand. Okay. If didn't get a good hold and you got this here, just let that go. Okay, and then brace yourself with the right hand. Okay, I don't think that's going to happen, but I'd rather you know it and not need it than need it and not know it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm not so worried about him. His personality all the time.
I'll take the leather one here.
Okay.
I'm going to hand this to you. So go ahead and get yourself situated with the hold and stuff. Okay. There you go, correct, right? And then just go ahead and do a quick little with your left hand. There you go, perfect, just like that, okay?
When I want to stop.
Yeah, when you're done. Whenever you decide I'm not going to reel this in anymore, just always do that as force of habit, okay? Because you might get caught off guard one day.
Right.
And then like for me, it's just natural. Even when I grab leashes, like when we hold a leash, like I'm like this. And even here, this is another lock. So it's really ingrained in me. Same thing for you.
Okay.
Go ahead and shorten a little bit more. About there, that's good. Okay, so that's about 30 feet of slack right there. Okay. And you're gonna go ahead and move back that way. Good. So right. Almost boy. So go ahead and start to pull your leash a little bit, but no tapping here. Okay, just pull your leash. Yep. Can you start to feel that?
Yeah.
Right? So that little bit of tension you feel, he can feel as well. Okay, so it's very subtle. So now you're gonna go ahead and start tapping as you put tension. Tap, 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 a little bit more tension, tap, tap, and back, tap, 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 like that, and reel. There you go. That's fine. It's okay. And then go ahead and praise them. Okay. After you do a few reps, it'll get more natural. Okay.
Yeah, it can't be too far from you. So he's interested.
Okay, and then tension. Tap, 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 tap. A little bit more tension. Tap, and back. 1, 2, 3. That's good. And pray. And a boy. We're gonna do that 3 more times. Okay. When you do those steps backwards, I'm gonna have you take.
While he's moving is when I take the steps. Like
So-
once he comes to.
What we're trying to build to is tap. Right? You move. Then you start doing this.
Okay.
But because he's more so moving into me, I'm having you move backwards to increase the tension so that you're not having to go like this. Okay?
Got it.
So it's going to change a bit. So once he recognizes the tap and starts moving towards you, then you'll be doing these 3 steps down. Okay? There's more stuff too, but
Yeah.
little-
I know.
little by little.
It's just.
So yeah, everything's looking good. More pronounced steps. Yep. Tap. 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 Start. Step back. Tap. There it is. Tap. Right there. Good. Good. 2 more. We're at 35, right?
Yeah.
Let's try one. Tap, tap, tap. There it is. Now back. 1, 2, 3. Right there. Good. And praise. And a boy. Good. One more. So you got that one more. He's like, when I go next to you,
Yeah, he's like, Mom doesn't want me by you.
all this tapping happens. There it is. Good. Back. 1, 2, 3. Right there. See what happens here? Good. And praise. Good. Just going to bring Walter over here. And now we're going to make it a little bit more complicated, okay? So, we're teaching the foundation of tap means come them up. And when he arrives to you, much like with the heel command, it's going to become a package.
Yeah.
So once he arrives, what we're going to add in now is just pause. And then once he lands, give a tap to get the auto sit.
Okay.
Okay? So it's not a sit, it's like with heel. It's just come to me and then put your butt down.
Right, it's
Okay?
all one.
Correct. Now, he overshot it a little bit on that last one. So if Walter passes you, what you would do is just automatically pivot to face him, start tapping again and moving the other way. Okay? So if Walter runs to me,
So I
and goes,
think he'll do a lot. I think he'll overshoot it. That's like he comes to me, but like he goes past me.
does he? Okay.
Yeah.
So this will help fix that problem. Okay. Excuse me. So you call him, he comes to you. Maybe he goes to the left. You would turn, tap, 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 tap. Now you're moving this way. Okay. Maybe he overshoots it. He goes past you. Again, you turn to face him backwards. Tap, 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 tap until he comes to you. Okay. Once we attach the word come, you wouldn't be repeating every time he overshoots it. It's
he
all
still
tied to the
hasn't
first
done
one.
it, right.
Exactly. Okay. So if he overshoots it, or you think he's going to, just naturally go into, or automatically go into that pivot and moving backwards to bring him to you. Okay. Should Walter come to you but land like maybe 2 feet over here? A lot of people go like, good boy.
Yeah.
Right? I don't. Because that's still, I'm here, I'm not there. Right? So I want him to be within that immediate space. Okay?
Right.
I don't care where he lands. Right, left, front, back, between your legs. Just in my immediate space, and then put your butt down once you get here. Okay? So, same stuff. We might bump it a little bit, probably go like 46, 47 to see if we can get a more quicker shoot. Your movements back were much better. If you see Walter moving towards you, I cap it at 3. So it's like 1, 2, and 3 to the stop. Unless he goes, then it's tap, 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 and I keep moving back until he retargets. Okay, and once it feels like, and you'll see, like you'll recognize, like, oh, now he's moving to me. Then I count at 1, 2, 3, and come to that stop. Okay. This is going to be a permanent fixture to the company. If Walter gets out of earshot, what we're essentially doing is layering down. If you remote him and he can't hear you, like you'll see him turn and go like, I know that has to do with mom or dad, right? And then he sees this. So that's the visual of get over here.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing is dogs tend to naturally find the owner if they're getting too far off when you remote them. They tend to close in because of this exercise.
Yeah.
Okay. Exactly. And what's nice is you can. So typically dogs will hover around a radius of the length of the leash you practice with. So if you practice with a 50-foot leash, then you may see Walter run around, but he keep within a 50-foot radius because he's thinking anytime I hit 50 feet is when I get called back, right? So it kind of sets up a natural like electronic fence.
Yeah.
So like my guys, I did a 30-foot leash. So when they're running around, zooming all over the place, but as I'm moving, it's like this 30-foot bubble around me that they're staying within.
Yeah.
And on occasion, something will get their attention. And if it's too far, instead of calling them, I just go tap tap. And they go, oh, too far. They come in a little closer, but they maintain their freedom. Because recall is here, okay, and just a tap is you're a little too far, going a bit closer. Okay, so you'll learn like the nuances as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Questions about any of that?
No.
Right. So we'll do same thing, but now we're going to add in the auto sits. If he overshoots it, the pivot, and the remote to bring him all the way to you. And then only 3 steps once you feel, or once you think he's locked up. Correct. Okay. All right. This way.
And you want me to bump it still?
Yeah, let's try 46. Because you're at 42, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Now back. Good. Right there. Now back. Turn to face him. Back. Tap. 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 Right there. And wait. Tap. And praise. Good. Break. Don't piddle on me, buddy. Get a little spritz. Yep. Turn the face. Yep. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, 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 tap. Good right there. Tap. Good. Let's bump it. Let's go to 52. Good. Yeah. I like the speed, right? But then when you overshot it, that correction, we're trying to make that very, very quick.
Right.
Okay?
And that's what I'm saying. I do have to do.
Here, buddy. Where are you going? Yep. Start to move back a little bit. There you go. Right there. Good. Turn the face. Tap back. Good. Right there. Yeah. Tap. And straight. Good. We're 52, right?
Yes.
Okay. 58.
So it's just tension until he pops up, and then I can walk. So I just
Yeah.
feel like I'm doing that part wrong.
I had you, so on this one, because he was getting stuck, I don't know if you noticed, he started to move towards me.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill, do you mind bringing your stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, my first one.
Yeah, grab all your stuff.
Don't steal our stuff, Bill. Stay where you live. So, we're trying to get it to, and he did it a couple of times where you tapped and he just shut off, right? That's what we're trying to create consistency.
Right.
But
yeah, him getting all looped in, I'm sure.
yeah, and we work through that. So, if he gets tangled up, we're still gonna proceed normally.
Okay.
Most people will like unloop the dog, and I will sometimes.
Yeah.
But at some point I'll stop, because in real life when you call Walter, like shit's gonna be happening, right? Either he's spooked, or maybe he's nervous or anxious because something happened, it's stressful, or maybe like he's playing with dogs, right? It's a distraction.
Right.
So think of the leash as a distraction, right?
Okay.
And it's between his legs, and I've seen dogs where they're like walking, they're like, what is this, right? And they're like more concerned about the leash, but I'm making them more concerned about the command, because that's going to be realistic.
Right.
Now, we do want to be mindful, because yes, it can happen where, and this happened to a client before they were a client, but she had her dog on a long leash at the dog, like a dog open space park, you know, and you can touch my mom's stuff. And it wrapped around the leg and it broke the dog's leg because it got caught, right?
Yeah.
So if it's just like wedged between or whatever, it's fine. But if it's like really wrapped, stop the exercise, reset, because yeah, we don't want to let that happen. Exactly. But I will use the tension, and you might find like you're trying to work with him and he's tangled up and he's yipping, right? Because he's frustrated. He's like, what do I do? There's this leash here. And it's like, I know, buddy, but you got to figure it out because I called you, right? So,
We'll do what I thought.
so yeah, okay. So we're going to build it to the tap so you can run
Over
smooth.
there. Nope.
However,
Walter, hey.
come here, buddy.
Walter, come here. Come here.
He's like,
no,
somebody
you're gonna take
grab
my
this
stick.
stick.
I don't want it.
favorite game. Keep it away. Okay. Come here.
Bill's the dog whisperer.
That's not true.
Drop your stick.
I've got the short leash. There you go. Nice drop there, Walter.
Yeah, he listens to me. We'll drop it.
So if you have to step back to start the momentum, it's okay.
Okay.
Okay. Until we get to that point, then it would technically come in after the movement.
Got it.
Nice. Yep. Right, turn the face, tap, tap, back, tap, 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 back, tap, tap, tap. There he is. Good. What were we at now, 58?
Yeah.
Let's try 60. And I'm wanting the response from you to be pretty good, but the distraction of going over there, right? So I'll have you call him, and I'll keep you lined up to see if that remains a distraction. Yep. Back. There you go. You got it. You got it. There he is. Good. Back tap, tap, tap. Much better. Back tap. Yep. Back, back. Back. Tap. Reel in a little bit. There you go. Right there. Correct. Good. Tap. Tap. Good. And tap. Very good. Great. Attaboy. Good. We're 68? 5. 72. Did you see how that was better in terms of like getting
Yeah.
him to turn away.
Yeah.
So when you start to do this back up here, that's where you can reel in a little bit so that you don't have to go so far away.
Okay.
You know, so that's why also when we shorten the leash, if he passes us up, you're kind of limiting how much mistake he can make. Does that make
Got
sense?
it.
Because you're shortening it up so he doesn't get another 30 feet away from you.
Yeah.
He's only getting 15 feet away from you, so it's making it easier to correct.
Okay.
Once we get everything in his head, then we can start experimenting with, okay, now we get a fully slack 50-foot leash, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
have you
Like see what mistakes are made then.
exactly, and how fast he corrects. Don't run away.
Come here. Drop it.
There you go. Alright, and pause. There he goes. Attaboy. So now, keep your leash how you have it in your right hand. Pass left to your right, like that. Okay? And relax. And just say heel and walk forward. Go and slow down. Come to a stop. Tap for the auto. Very good. Okay. So we're playing with the number right now to make quicker response. Okay. So that one was more direct. So it's possible it was more direct because higher power.
Yeah.
And we're getting, remember that up for that working number, very
Right,
important,
right,
right?
right.
Where he's like, oh crap, I don't want to gamble
That
overshooting it, right? I'm going to make this serious from the get-go. Or if he did overshoot it and you turned it correct and do the tap, it'd be a much faster response, okay? Ultimately, we're trying to get a direct. That's the end goal. Questions about any of that so far?
No.
Questions about anything else?
No.
Okay.
Just making sure that I don't. But yeah. I'm good.
So then, you did a good recall. Then I said, say heel, just walk forward, right? And you have about 10 to 15 foot of slack there. So the methods that we're using here are off-leash methods.
Right.
Okay, it's just a matter of do you want to put in the effort to build it up to that big rate, okay? And this is exactly how we do it, okay? So, with the long leash, you can start dabbling with what I call faux or fake off-leash training, because for dogs, when you walk with Walter, he sees that leash, right? And it connects him to you. And I've had dogs be perfect, everything's spot on, and then the moment the owner drops the leash, the dog goes, what do I do? Because there's not that reference point anymore. Exactly, right? So with this blue leash, we can kind of remove that reference point. You still got a leash, but now that we have it on the right and it comes from behind,
Yeah.
he doesn't know that. Okay?
Right.
So now I can start practicing using this long leash, and he's gonna make mistakes and get confused and stuff, and I can teach him to work through it and how to fix the problem without losing. Okay? You're good. Yep. There you go. Without losing Walter. Okay? And this is exactly how we have progressed my dogs. This is exactly how I progress all my other clients. And it just starts with this. You've already got the heel down. Now it's transferring everything to this long leash. Everything stays the same.
Yeah.
Crossovers to the right leg stay the same. Pivots off the left leg stay the same. Slowing down to a stop stays the same. That's why it's super important that he's close and that he knows those visual cues, because when there's no leash, that's all you're gonna have. Okay? So this is just to give you like a taste, example of it. So back to the recall. Everything's good. A little bit better response. So what we'll do here is we're gonna go ahead and start adding in the cue, Walter come. Okay? I tend to do the dog's name prior to the cue.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be
I
the same.
probably would too, naturally.
It's going to be the same process, except now it's going to be Walter come, then tapping and moving back.
Okay.
Okay? If Walter responds to the words, you're still going to tap at least one time.
Okay.
Okay? So in the future, if I'm Walter, right, you call me and he turns, but you tap him too late. What do you think would happen here?
I might say not finished coming.
Okay? Yeah, so sit, he might stop, or he might run away. Okay, because he's thinking I made a decision.
Not doing the right thing.
Correct.
That's what he's gonna think.
Right? So he's like, oh, maybe this was wrong.
Yeah.
It's gonna deflect him. Okay. So at this phase, there's things that we do purposely with the intention of causing that confusion
Okay.
to proof it. Okay. This is the stuff that I mentioned earlier, like people don't know or think about.
Right.
But it's very common, right? So every time you call Walter, even if he's shooting towards you, get a tap in there because you're trying to confuse him. Okay. If he gets confused and goes wrong thing, goes this way, put the pressure on again, move backward, the leash is going to redirect him, and he's like, oh, I guess it was right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. And then you're just clarifying for him that tap in this context always means return. Okay. If I remote a dog and they misinterpret it, I would always want them to misinterpret it as a recall. Okay. Last thing I want, especially if you're off leash, is them going off. Right. So if he's supposed to lay down and I tap him, he's like, hey, I'm going to come to you. I'm like, wasn't correct, but I'll take it.
Right. I'm not mad about it.
Exactly. Okay. So now we're going to do another batch of 5, but we're going to add in that recall. Walter, come. When we're in a setting like this, we got some traffic. There's a big room going on over there, right? You got kids aerobics going on. So you want to use higher pitch, Walter, come, as opposed to Walter, come. Lower pitches don't carry well in the busy environment. Higher pitches do. Okay. Questions?
No.
All right. So break. Like you can't trick me.
Before tension, sorry, his name?
Correct.
Walter, come.
Good. Right there. Good. Right. He's like, I already know what this game is.
Other way. Criss, cross, and turn. Speed it up. Criss, cross, turn. Toss it out. Other way. Criss, cross, turn.
Walter,
Toss
come.
it out. Good. One more time.
Good.
Criss, cross, turn. Other way. Criss, cross, turn. Good. Okay.
Very good.
We go.
Was that on his own sit?
Yeah.
Out.
Break, break, break.
Come on. Walter, come.
Very good. Good. And boy. Tap. So here, move backwards. Tap, 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 tap. Right there.
Only you move.
Very good. So good. I'm glad that happened.
Yeah.
And open the press.
So with the recall,
Thought he was done.
yes, he wasn't done, right? So that's why I've been saying break at the end of everything, right? So for any of our commands,
You ready?
they're in effect until that word is cued. Okay, so if you heal him, he's here until you say break.
Right.
Once we get the sitting down stuff, he's doing that until you say break, right? Same for recall. I called you, you get over here, and until I give you permission to play, you're here. Okay, so
Remember that with the stay.
Yeah.
Phrasing him to see if he was confused.
Right. So here, Bill comes up and says, hey, camera, right? And I like that you didn't say anything. I just said back and tap, and you started doing it. A lot of people would call again. Okay. So the reason why that's important is the way a dog's brain works is, let's say you told Walter to sit, right? He puts his butt down, and then he gets up. You say, no, sit. You've not taught him to not get up. You've just reset. Okay? So even though you went sit, sit. It's the same command for the dog. Okay. So we always go straight to the remote, so he thinks, oh, if mom says sit and I get up prematurely, this kicks in with no warning. The only way to avoid it is to keep my butt down. Okay, it's a tiny little detail, but it's the one thing that a lot of people struggle with because everybody repeats stuff,
Yeah.
right? Because they think that dogs aren't capable of that stuff. I'm like, no, they absolutely are.
Yeah.
But it's just
Staying in.
making it happen. Exactly. So then he thinks, oh, okay, mom calls me once. I stay next to mom until mom says break or she tells me the next thing. Okay? Very good. Break. We'll do 2 more and then we'll move on to the next thing.
Yes, keep going, keep going. Try again, now again. Again. Bring it up, bring it up. That's it. Good. You're behind. Walter, come. Close. Try again.
I was like, where's my water bottle?
If you need a refill, I got my water bottle.
Okay.
And it's like cold, so.
Good. Well, I like that one because right when you all the cat, I can see where he was like, oh, I need to move my body.
Yeah. Attention right away.
Good. And last one. Break.
Okay, one.
All right. Perfect.
Okay, come.
Back tap. Good move. Good move.
Alright, feet in front. Here we go. Let's stretch it out.
Good.
We won't spend too much on the ground, guys.
I would do the same thing. You'll say heel and keep your leash slack forward.
Heel.
Alright.
There it goes.
Reach up. Feet together.
Stop there.
Touch your toes.
Excellent. Okay. So the way we're practicing this, not realistic. Okay, like Walter's not going to be waiting for you to call him. Right.
Are we doing?
Yes. So there's 2 ways of practicing this to build to a more realistic context. He has prey drive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Squirrels, rabbits.
Yeah.
Okay.
All that.
Geese.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Cool. So you have a lot of stuff to work with.
Yeah.
So, one approach is, let's say you're walking with Walter, and what is it? Was it Palmer Square? That big like boulevard that's all grass, right?
Yeah.
So like, let's say you go there, for example, you have plenty of space, right? You walk there, you put him on the long leash, and you can always shorten it so he doesn't have the full 50 feet. And you see like geese or squirrels in the tree, right? Break, right? And Walter's like, wee, and he just goes over there. I let him be a dog. Yep. Good. I let him be a dog. And I sneak away. Okay, maybe 30 feet or so.
Yeah.
And I wait, and I give him a couple of minutes just doing his doggy thing. And then a couple minutes in, Walter comes, boom, 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 get him to return to you. He comes, good boy, and then I wait a few seconds to tempt him to want to go back again.
Yeah.
Then I go, break, boom. He goes back to the squirrels again, right? So I'm using that distraction as a distraction and as a reward. Okay, so I don't care that dogs chase squirrels and all that stuff. They're dogs, right? But I want to know
at the right time.
Yeah, I have control, and I can get them to return. So you're using something that's very realistic to make your obedience realistic and to proof it a bit. Okay, so like I had a gentleman who lived across. It was a big open grass lot, like probably like the length of Oz, right? And he said every morning there would be geese there. Okay, it'd be like a flock of 50 geese or whatever. And he bought like a 100-foot leash for his dog. And every morning he'd go out there and let the dog go. And he would call him back from different points. He'd call him during the pursuit. He'd call him just before he got to the geese. He'd call them when he'd be in the middle of the geese. He called him when he would be like in chase mode, right?
Yeah.
So within like a week or two, like his recall was amazing.
Yeah.
Because he had a nice controlled context, right? Yeah, I take my dog anywhere now. Because
Right.
I have the capacity to practice, right? So if all you have is like an empty environment, or like let's say you do go to Palmer Square and there's no geese or whatever, right? And you have Chase with you, how do you think, if we took this exercise the way we're practicing it, how could you two make it more realistic with Walter?
I think even just like if Chase is like running around, you're not like running around. always wants to be where like somebody's having fun.
Sure.
Basically.
Yeah, so Chase could like have the short leash. He's got
Yeah.
Walter. Come on, buddy, right?
Yeah.
He's running around. And as he's running around, you randomly call him.
Right.
Okay. Another thing you do is taking Walter and one of you guys is running from the other, and during the runaway, you call him. Okay. Because most of the time when people call their dogs, they're chasing something, they're running towards something they shouldn't, or they're that was the third one, or running away.
Yeah.
But it's almost always away, right? So I'm trying to replicate that same situation. So when I work with couples, I'll tell them, like, do this with each other, right? You may see some confusion in the beginning. Because if you're running with Walter and Chase calls him and he's tapping him, he might think, heel, right? That's where the leash comes into play. Because at some point, if the remote doesn't get him to 180,
Got it.
the tension's going to kick in,
Yeah.
right? And then eventually we build the, when I hear this word, come, it's,
Yeah.
I do this. Okay, questions?
No.
During play is really good.
Yeah. I mean, he likes like tug of war and stuff too. So even if like you're just like, be like playing with him.
Yeah, like engaging with
Yeah.
them and all that stuff. And you really
Someone
want,
else
the longer you let him do those activities before you do a command like that, the more
Yeah, that makes sense.
disconnected he gets from the person who's going to be doing the exercise. Okay, so that's why I said give him a couple minutes with the squirrels.
Right.
There's no rush. And then he's getting so like, this is amazing. And then it's like, Walter, come. Like what? Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because if I do it right away, then he's not even gonna want to play.
yeah, exactly.
He's
You
just
know.
gonna think like I can't. There's no time.
Correct. And if you do the solo, right? Let's say you just go with the long leash and you let Walter be free. You do want to be mindful of how much you do practice within that context. Okay. So with Chase, you can force the disconnect. Like you can see already, Walter was like, I know what's happening, guys. Like I'm not leaving, right?
Yeah.
But I have the leash, so I can force it to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're solo and you drill this too much, you're gonna get the same problem, and then you can't practice anymore. Okay. So it's the one drawback about doing remote recall is that you might see a dip in like exploration mode possibly, but then it just means that I lay off of it a bit so he gets comfortable again, and then once he's comfortable, I let it slide for a bit, and then I bring it back again. Okay. So if I were to bring Walter to the park for 30 minutes, it might be 30 minutes of Walter being Walter.
Yeah.
And then I call him one time.
Finding sticks.
Yeah, at the end, right? The next day I call him 5 times. The next day 2 times. Then 1 time. Then 1 time. Then 3 times. Then 1 time. Then 5 times, right?
Yeah, just
I'm
switching it
changing it up. So he doesn't think, oh, we're going to the park just so we can drill the stupid exercise 100 times.
Yeah.
No fun.
I'm not gonna have any fun.
Exactly. Okay. And even like calling him off of sticks. He's got a really good stick over,
Yeah.
use all those things to your advantage. Don't be discouraged if you see Walter get a little like paranoid about leaving you, right? Because it's normal in the beginning. That caution that you're seeing is actually healthy in my opinion because it prevents the dogs from just booking it,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Which he doesn't have that like runaway drive. Now that's not good.
Sure. So yeah, you're
It's
familiar with what
different.
that
Yeah.
looks like, right?
Yeah.
Like you take the leash off, they're like, bye.
Yeah. See ya.
Yeah. So doing this exercise helps fix that for a lot of dogs. He already has an attachment to you, right? But now it'd be more so an obedience attachment as opposed to like a needy boy attachment.
Right. Yeah. Full. Yeah.
Yeah.
Full baby.
Any questions about the recall stuff there?
I don't think so.
Okay. So recall tends to take people the longest to learn
Yeah.
because it requires you to go somewhere,
Yeah.
let Walter be
Environment and
free.
everything.
Yeah. So because you live nearby, right?
By the Octoberty. By your
Okay.
guys'.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, if you go south on Western,
Yeah.
where you hit the skate park,
Yeah.
and you make a right, that's like where the boulevard starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
there. Yeah. So you can even go right there and just walk up the boulevard.
Yeah,
in
in the
the
middle
grass
of the
area.
median.
Yep.
Right. I
Um,
mean, a little scary with a lot of cars, but you could go all the way down.
you can use a short leash. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anywhere else that's. I mean, the dog park's not that busy. It's usually I've seen.
Every time he goes to that one, he's been getting like infections in his paws. At the
Oh,
local
really?
One. Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking paranoid, but
Then I'll
we go
that
to
way.
Hamlin Park though, which we have to walk like down Diversity, and we cut through those like Lathrop homes, which is like right on the river, and there's always geese there.
Gotcha.
So.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like under Diversity.
Yep.
You cross under. Oh, sorry.
There you go.
I'm distracted too. Okay.
No, it's okay. But so
Yeah.
right there, super common, right? Because we're having a conversation. It's like with kids. Like I remember when my mom would like talk to a neighbor, and I'm like, all right, like I would just start doing
I'm
stuff.
gonna make my own.
Yeah, you know, it's the same thing with the dogs. So the moment you see him, like his job right now, because he's in heel, bless you, he's in heel technically, right? The moment you see Walter moving to do something he shouldn't, like technically when he laid down, that would have been a tap.
Yeah.
Because he laid down earlier, and then it became the if I was able to lay down,
Yeah.
then I
Let me
won
try
this,
this.
right? So that's why I tell everybody super black and white, because then it makes your obedience that much more reliable. Okay, tiny little detail, everybody does it.
I don't pay attention. It's
But,
like
you know,
my issue.
Yeah, and plus you have that long leash, because if you had the shorter leash, it would have been
Yeah,
a
I
bit
feel
more
it.
evident. You do that now. With the long leash heel, it's super simple for now. Same stuff, okay? So go ahead and pivot to face that way. Now Walter's on your left, okay? And then, yep, and you're gonna just say heel, and I'm gonna have you do what you normally do with heel. You just have now a long leash, so you do your turns.
Okay.
I'm gonna have you do a couple of pivots. I'll even have you speed up a bit
Yeah.
to purposely lose Walter and tap him and see what does he do. You want to see this, but he may not.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Heel.
Yep. Good. Tap, tap. Tap, tap. Tap, tap. Tap, tap. Tap. Yep. Keep going. Tap. There he is. He's coming. Tap, tap. Keep going. Keep going. Tap. Keep moving. Go ahead and... No, you're fine. You're fine. You got it. Keep going. You got it. Good. There he is. Excellent. Good. Right. Good. Good. Go ahead and do a heel to a pivot. Oh, you want to try to stay?
No, I was gonna ask if I should. If we're throwing that in too.
If you're gonna do a stay, grab a little bit higher on the blue leash. Yeah. So you want to warm up first because we've just done normal length, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead and just pull it out from under his left leg there, and let the right hand go. At least the slack. There you go. Give the stay.
Stay.
Pivot out. So we're doing this now. So when we do training, when I make something harder, I try to make something easier.
Yeah.
Okay, until we proof everything, right? So you grab closer. We wouldn't just walk off 50 feet, right? And then I had you go back to the pivot out to make things easier, okay? So now you would start doing your walk around, tap, tap, tap. Yep, go ahead and just back away. Up, tap, tap, tap. Yep. Keep your left hand up, back away again. There you go, good. So that was just to keep him back in case he made a mistake, right? Now go ahead and start slowly walking around. Now slowly start to back off and give a little bit more slack to get more distance. There you go, that's good right there. We're gonna walk around a bit. Excellent. Go ahead and go back to his side. Good. Go ahead and praise him. And a boy. And you're gonna step away again, but he's still in stay. There you go. Good. Excellent. Go ahead and walk to this side of Walter, his left side, and then walk forward, right there. And go ahead and just say heel and forward. There you go. Good. Tap, tap, speed him up. There he is, attaboy. Go and do a left turn. There you go. There you go. Yep, forward tap, forward tap, forward tap. You got it. There he is. Attaboy. Try crossover again. And slow to stop when you're ready. Excellent. All right. So you can see where he gets stuck.
Yeah.
And he just stops and goes, I don't know what to do here.
Yeah.
So most people stop too. But you want to keep your moment because remember, he's going by your body language, right? So if you're just walking like this, like you're telling him like, we're in heel, right? And the tap is telling him to figure it out. And it was this time and the earlier times where you saw it just click and then he actually ran to you faster. Because earlier with the taps, since there's no tension to direct him,
Yeah.
a dog's first instinct is to either run away. In this case, he wasn't running away, but he was slowing down, right? And we're trying to teach him tap tap means get to the leg faster. Okay, so that's exactly what I would expect to see. Okay, so this stuff when you go to practice your recall and everything, you can also start